Hello everyone, Rich here, back for part 9 and the final part of this SS Île de France tutorial. Today's focus is basically just the lifeboats, handrails and one or two masts, I think. So that's that. So what we're going to do, we're going to go down to the boat deck now and start with the lifeboats. So I'm going to work on the left hand side, which I normally do because that's the way I measure things. So we'll go down to the left hand side of the boat deck. So we've got the bridge wings here, go below that, go below down to here. You've got this big open deck here, so it's basically the top deck before the inner superstructure. And what we're going to do is go from the back wall here of this bridge wing area, and we're going to count to the 10th block back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we're going to build... No, it's not the 10th back, it's 7 back, so 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 back. Yes, that's the ones. Right, so on the 7th back we build up 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we build up 2, 2, 2, and 2. So it's 4 rows of 2. And then across 3. 1, 2, 3, like so. So that's the sort of gantry. And then at the end of the 3 we build up... hang on, try and build up 3. 1, 2, 3. And then 2, 1, 2, and then over, how many is it? That's 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. And then we want 2 underneath, 1, 2, and then 1 black block underneath that, like so. And there we are, there's the gantry, can't really see it very well, sort of gantry shaped like that. So it was up 3, and then 4 rows of 2, across 3, up 2, and then out 5, 2, and 1, like that. Excuse me. And to repeat, it's the 7th block back from the superstructure, not the 10th. That was my mistake. Right, and then what we need to do now is from the first gantry we're going to leave a 15 block gap. So 1, that's the first block there, so I can make it 15 blocks. That's 12, 13, 14, 15. And on the 16th block we build the same again. So it's up 1, 2, 3, and then 4 rows of 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And then across 3, 1, 2, 3, and then up 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 2, 1, 2, and then out 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2 underneath, and then 1 black block, like so. And then that's the second gantry. So that's 2 of those, and then there's 2 to every lifeboat, and then there's 10 lifeboats. So you need 20 of these things down each side, but they go in pairs. So we've got the first pair in there. And then I'll add the boat in a minute, but then once you've done the first pair you leave a single block gap, and then you build your next pair. So you go up 1, 2, 3 again, and then the 4 rows of 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then 3 out, 3 out. If you got to attach it to the deck, then make it 4, like so, and then up the 3 again, 1, 2, 3, and then 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out, and then the 2, and then the black underneath. So there we are. So that's the gap between each pair. So each pair is a 15 block gap between them, between each one in each pair. And then after that, after the first pair, or after each pair, you leave a single block gap and add another pair. Add a single block gap, add another pair, but 15 blocks between each other. It's difficult to explain, but it's not rocket science. It's just me being a real dick trying to explain it. Anyway, we've got the first pair in place, so we're going to add the first lifeboat. So the lifeboat goes on the 7th block up. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the 7th block up, we add the keel of our boat. I think it's the keel. Well, we'll add the keel anyway, so I make the keel... actually, 7th block up, add a block out, and then build 1 block up, and then 2 blocks down like so. So it's sort of a 2 down, 2 up, 2 down sort of thing. Can't really see it very well, but I do the same the other side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We add 1 block and then 1 block up, and then 2 blocks down, like so, and then join them together. So this would be the keel of the lifeboat, like so. I'm trying to explain it as best I can. And then the next row up we add 1 out, and then 1. Hang on, why did I do it? So, yeah, so add 1 out and 1 out, and then join these 2 together across the side, and the same the other side. So go 1 out and 1 out at the back, join them together, like so. And then next row up we add 1 in the centre, and then how was it? It's 1 and then 2 out. No, it's 1 centre and then 1 out and then 2 out. Same again, 1 out and then 2 out, like that. Same on the other end, so 1 and then 1. Hang on, trying to remember how I've done this. So add 1, yeah, add 1 and then 2 out, and then 1 and then 2 out. Not explaining it very well, I know, but you know. So anyway, join these two halves together, and then join that other half together like so. And there we are, there's the lifeboat, and then we can remove, well, it depends what you want to do really. If you want to have the boat open, like I did on the Queen Mary, then remove said blocks to create as much space as possible. So remove, 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 and you have a big open space. But if you're doing like I've done on the prototype, because on the prototype I've got, if I just jump to a second, on the prototype here I've got the boats covered, and basically underneath the yellow is, it's all filled in with blocks. So if you want to, like I said, go with an open lifeboat, then just remove all the blocks inside. But if you want it covered, fill the whole thing with blocks and then cover it with a carpet. So it's up to you how you want to interpret this, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to carry on with the closed boat, because that's basically what I built. But like I say, if you want to use, want to have an open boat, then that's fine. Consult my Queen Mary tutorial. I think the final part of that, I think it's part 12. You consult part 12 of that for the inside of the lifeboat. Although to be fair, it's a different style of boat. So if I just do a quick detail of this first, we need wood slabs for this one. And so for the lifeboat, you want to, you know, make as much detail as possible. This is for an open boat, of course. So you add slabs in the bottom, and then you add seats across the width. You know, it's basic, but you know it works. So you know, there's the lifeboat with the open as an open lifeboat with a detail, right? But if you want to make it so you got a canvas over the top, then just remove and just, you know, fill it in with white blocks, or any block really. So I just remove the detail inside, and then we just fill it all in with white blocks, because if you're putting a canvas over the top, then it won't matter, because it's all going to be hidden. So we'll fill in all the crap here. So there's the boat covered, and then we'll use a carpet. On my one I used yellow, so I used a yellow carpet, and just cover it all with yellow carpet, and it should look nice and neat. Entirely up to you what colour you want to use. I'm just going by reference of paintings and models for the colour, but it's up to you what colour you want to use. So blue is usually quite good, or some use grey or brown. Yeah, it's up to you what you want to use, but I've used yellow. So that's the first lifeboat almost done. So just going to go underneath and remove a few surplus blocks, because they're not really needed. So remove just a couple here and there in the corners, and it should look fine. You can use upside down stairs if you want to make the corners a bit, you know, make these areas a bit less sort of square. You can make them a bit more curvy, but it's up to you what you want to do. But anyway, that's the first boat done, and so I move on to the next one. So I've already put the first gantry in place for the second set. So like I said, it's a single block gap between each pair, or between each set basically, and then what you do is leave a 15 block gap from the first to the second. So that's the first one there, the first gantry, and then another 15 block gap. So that is 15 there, and on the 16th block we build again. So up 3, and then up 2, 2, 2, and 2, and then across 1, 2, 3, make it 4, and then up 1, 2, 3, and then up 2, and then across 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down 2, and then a black block underneath. And that's the second set of gantries in place. And then for the lifeboat, once again, the 7th block up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Add 1 and 1 up, and then 2 down. Same the other side. So it's, where is it? It's 1 up, 2 down, and then join the keel together across the bottom. And then we add the sides. So no real rocket science to this one. Helps if I explain what I'm doing, doesn't it? So it's 1 out, and then build the side. Then for the top section, add 1, and then 1, and then 2 out. Add 1, and then 2 out. Same at the back. 1 center, 1, and then 2 out. 1 and 2 out. and then build the sides. And then once again fill in the whole thing with any colour block you want, doesn't really matter, but I use white. Like so, and then of course the yellow carpet for the cover. So it will look fine and dandy when it's done. And hopefully repair damage you caused while building it. There we go, and then of course remove the surplus blocks that are not needed. And there we go, that is lifeboat number 2 done. So like I said, there's 10 sets of these boats, there's 10 boats, that's 20 gantries, and they go all along the side. So that's the first 2 done, so I just need to do the same thing another 8 times down this side, and then add 10 down the other side. So carry on building, or copy paste or whatever, and it should all look fine when it's done. It'll look how it does on the prototype, so you just have 10 down each side. So I'm going to do a quick jump cut while I sort out the boats, and then we can move on to the next job. So back in a moment. Okay, back again. So I've got all the lifeboats in place, and now the ship should look something like that. You've got 10 down either side, and it does really fill out the decks now. The ship does sort of look complete. One more thing that I didn't show you though, is when you're building the gantries all along the side, some of the gantries do fall a bit short. So if I'll just give you an example here, the gantries do fall short where the superstructure narrows. So to fix that, you basically just extend the gantry support to it connects to the superstructure there. So it's the same on all of them really, because I sort of cut them short. So we just add extra blocks for them to connect to the deck, or to the upper deck, and it should all look fine when done. So just extend the far what is it? It's the 3 in it. So it was up 4 rows of 2, and then it was 3 across. But extend the 3 to 4 or 5 where need be, and it should all be fine when it's all done. So I just quickly do that. I've already done the other side, so I've just done this as an example. And last one there, and there we go. That is all the gantries connected. So that's that little jobby done. So we've got all the lifeboats in place, and don't look too bad. So that's that. So what we're going to do now is go to the back end of the superstructure now. And we've got 2 more lifeboats to add, one on either side, and these are just sort of small surplus lifeboats really. So as you can see on the prototype, well, can't really see on the prototype, but they're sort of, well, they sit on this overhang here. So that either side of the mast really, they've got the stern mast there, and you've got this overhang over the side here, and the lifeboat goes on this one. So for this lifeboat, we go to the 4th block in. So to go from each corner, we've got the front corner here, we go to the 4th block in. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And we build the davit. It's a single davit, 7 blocks high. Sorry, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and a block in like so. And then directly opposite that, on the back wall of the overhang, we do the same again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1 in. That should give you a gap of about 10 blocks, but I can't be sure, so we'll just measure it. So between the front and the back, there's 9 blocks, so near enough. So between the 2 davits, we add a lifeboat. So 1 block in from the front, or 1 block in from the first davit, we'll add a keel, which is 7 long, and then double it in width, like so. And then each end just build 2 and 2 there, and then the same on the other end, 2 there and 2 there, and then build along the sides. So just build, it's basically building a bathtub, and build the other side, and then as before fill it in, and then cover it with a yellow cover, or any colour cover really, and it should all look like that. So that's the 2 davits and a small lifeboat there. On the prototype it's 10 long, but I think that was just a mistake on my part, that I built this slightly too short, but it's not a big issue because it looks fine nonetheless. So that's that little lifeboat there. So I should do the same the other side, get it out of the way. So it's, what is it, it's the 4th in from the front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 up, and a block there, and then directly opposite do the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and a block, and then we add our keel, which is 7 long, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, double it in width, 2 there, 2 there, and then 2 there and 2 there, and then the blocks down the sides, and down the other side, and then fill it all in. Then we add the yellow cover. I could have just done copy paste, but you know, I might as well do it all. And there we go, that's both lifeboats done. So that's all the lifeboats done basically. Nothing really special, but it's something. And I don't look too bad, do it? For the last details, what we're going to do now is go to the third deck house on the top of the superstructure. So the first 2 deck houses are for the funnels. So just looking back. So yeah, the first 2 deck houses for the funnels. Then you got the third deck house here, which would have been where funnel number 3 would have gone, but that's not the case anymore. And we're going to go to the back wall and the centre block, and then we're going to go to the 16th block forward. So on the wood we go 16 forward, so that's the first block, and count to the 16th, so that's 7, that's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. On the 16th block we build a tower 8 blocks high, or a mast basically, so 8 blocks high, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then 1 block down from the top, replace it with a black block, and that is basically all of that. On the prototype I did add a sort of flat skylight, but it's basically just grey blocks, so I wasn't prepared to just copy that, so I'm just going to leave that blank, and those who are a bit more in the know can add the actual skylight, so I'm just going to leave it that. I don't think it actually is a skylight, I think it's more a cover where the funnel used to go, because like I say, it was a 3 funnel ship, so it's probably just the flume for the third funnel, which has just been covered up. So it's not a skylight, just a surplus to requirement piece of equipment. So that's that. And then one more job to do before we add the handrails. The handrails always last, and the last job we need to do now is go down to the fantail, the tail end of the ship, right down here. And we're going to add some wood fencing, so I get our wood fence, and we're going to build that say 4 high, so 1, 2, 3, 4, make it 5 like so, and then we can add Vive la France, the French flag. So I get, I'm not sure whether to use concrete or wool for this one, so we use blue concrete, so I add 2 blocks of blue, 2 blocks of white, and 2 blocks of red, and then we have the French flag. So there we go, that'll keep some people happy. Alright, there we are, that's that little jobby done, and then for the final job it's just to add handrails around all of the decks. So we'll start at the front end of the boat deck, and we'll add handrails all along the boat deck, and then on the upper deck, and we'll probably call it quits there. So we'll just fly down to the front end of the boat deck, and we'll add handrails between each of the davit sets. So it usually gives me time to have a moan and a rant, but don't really know what to talk about, but I don't think many people listen anyway. But as per usual, if you're going to be building this ship as part of a downloadable project or a video, then don't forget to credit for the design, leave credit for me for the design. That's all I ask, because I do put a lot of work into these builds. Some people say I don't, because you know the shipbuilding community are all full of assholes, really. Well, not to be fair, they are good at what they do. They just seem to be a bit stern towards me. So, because I don't do things the same way they do, I do things a little bit differently. So, bollocks anyway. Yeah. So yeah, that's all I asked for. Just a bit of credit for the design, and yeah, it's that's all I asked for. So just adding the handrail down the side of the boat deck, and it's curving inwards now, so it's going to go down towards the back end here, and then around the stairs there, and then across the stairs. And then, what am I stuck on? I'm stuck on that bloody crane above me. Right, so we'll add the handrails going down to the auxiliary lifeboats down the back. And if you want to add the handrails around the lifeboat here, you can, but it's up to you. I think it'd be better if I left it blank, really, then the lifeboat's got better access. So build the handrails up to the davit, and that's as far as you need to go, really. And then just carry on the handrails around the curved back wall. And then it should all be hunky-dory after that. There we are, up to the davit. And then from the other davit, build up to the front of the boat deck. Between the other davits. Or gantries really, they're not really davits anymore. And this bloody crane above me, I keep banging my head on it. Right. Now along the other side. And as per usual, once this ship is complete, the next time you will see it is when it's been either destroyed, sunk, or badly manipulated, abused one way or another in the game called From the Depths. Now, people keep asking me, where do you download From the Depths? You download it, well, you buy it first and then download it off Steam. That's where you get the game from. It's not a brilliant game though, there's still a lot of bugs in it. But, you know, if you want to sink a ship or two, that's the game for you. Yeah, that's basically all I use it for. I mean, there is a campaign mode and things, but I never played it. There is multiplayer as well, but once again, I do play it sometimes, but it's just so unreliable. Yeah, it's something to avoid really at the moment, but it's up to you what you consider. But yeah, From the Depths. If you want to download it, then just buy it to then download it. It's not rocket science. But anyway, there we go. That's the gantries down that section there. And then what we're going to do now is add the gantry, not the gantries, add the handrails along the upper section here behind the gantries, behind the ship's wheelhouse as well. So just add the handrails along this side here. And I'll keep missing them. So right, hang on. There we go. We're not having any problems now. This I am. Right, carry on down the side here, and then down each section as well, between each lifeboat gantry. That'll do. Right, and then down the other ones. There we go, and then up from these stairs again, carry on along the side, and again between each gantry, up to the gantry there, between the next two. And how far down is it? Oh, it goes right down the back, so that's okay. So we'll go all the way down the back. I really hate adding these handrails. They look good when they're done, but they're just a pain in the ass to add. Anyway, we'll just carry on down the side and then across the back. When we get there, we are, across the back, underneath the crane, and then up the other side. So once again, another long jaunt from front to back, or back to front, whichever way you want to work. And all the way up to the other side. So what is the code for the handrails? If I actually welded it for the rest of them, because it's taking ages otherwise. So we'll go up to there and then replace 0 with 101. Ah, there it is, 101. Yeah, that's fine. Right, so do the same again. Use welded it. It takes days off of the time, so do the same again. 0 to 1 to 1. Same on this side. 1 to 1 to 0. Or the other way around. And then up this side. And then up the next side. Up to the other end to there. There we go. All the handrails added there. And a quick look, make sure they are all in place. Can't see them. And yeah, they're all fine. So just a quick look around again, make sure I've got everything in place. There was a small detail I forgot on the front, but it's not a big issue. It's just the light on the front of the superstructure. But if I don't mention it, then you're not going to worry. So I just fly down to the back end of the ship. And if you want to, you can add handrails around the funnel supports, but it's up to you. It's nothing really major. But yeah, I didn't look too bad. And I think we can call it a day there. So that is the Île de France all done. And she don't look too bad. Not bad for 2 weeks' work, is it? Oh, actually, there's a day and spare as well. So I've managed to achieve this in 9 parts rather than 10. So I've got a day free, so that's fine. And it don't look too bad. It's not perfect. No, I did use deck plans I had available for it, but you know, can't complain. They don't look too bad. So that's it for the Île de France. For the next tutorial, I don't know yet. I've got a few still in the works. It was going to be the Canberra, but it's just sort of fallen off the radar for me, really. But we'll see. We'll see what I can come up with. I've got a few more weeks to finish off the other ones as well. And yeah, well, we'll see what happens. So yeah, but anyway, that's it for the Île de France. Thank you very much for watching, subscribing, liking, commenting, and all things like that. I really do appreciate it. It keeps me going. If it wasn't for that, then you know, I wouldn't be here. So I appreciate all of the support. But yeah, thanks and all for that. Like I say, if you're building this as part of a video or a downloadable project, then don't forget to credit for the design. That's all I ask. So thanks again. So this is Rich, signing off, logging off, disappearing, and I shall return hopefully with another tutorial. So bye for now.